During the winter, a cup of tea is a constant companion for me to keep me warm, but I can't drink a ton of caffeine. So I thought it would be really fun to go to the bulk store, get some ingredients, and make some DIY herbal tea blends. So the first step was to actually get out, go to the grocery store. So I went to a PCC, which is a Seattle local co-op that has a great bulk section, and I stocked up on all different kinds of herbs. At home, I also had some cinnamon sticks and roasted barley that I thought would be really nice ingredients in some herbal teas. The first blend was a combination of roasted barley, cinnamon, cardamom, marshmallow root, anise seeds, and milk thistle. To brew my tea, I used this lovely Hario teapot. For each tea, I added about 2 tablespoons of the tea blend, and then I topped it up with boiling water and left it to steep for about 3 minutes. I wanted the second tea blend to be spicy and floral, so I added rosehip, hibiscus, Sichuan peppercorns, and lavender. I love the color of hibiscus when it's steeped in water. For the third tea, I wanted something that was really verdant and green, so I mixed nettle leaf, peppermint, rosemary, and milk thistle. This one smelled absolutely delicious with all those lovely herbs. I wanted this one to kind of taste like a milky cup of coffee, so I put roasted barley, roasted chicory, marshmallow root, and milk thistle. The roasted chicory really makes a dark cup of tea. It almost looks like a cup of coffee. Here I wanted to make a spicy rooibos blend, so I put Sichuan peppercorns, cinnamon, anise seed, rosehip, rooibos, and roasted chicory. I wanted to make something really creamy and light for this last blend, so I mixed marshmallow root, milk thistle, anise seed, and roasted barley.
Okay, so our herbal teas are all done, and now all there's left to do is to taste them. So I'll start off with the first one here. So this is the one that has cinnamon, some of the marshmallow root, and milk thistle, and I think this also did have some roasted barley in it. That's really, really lovely. It has a very, very delicate flavor. What I'm mostly getting is that roasted barley and the cinnamon. And then I believe I also put some cardamom in this, but that just adds almost a kind of creaminess to the tea. And that could also be from that milk thistle and the marshmallow root. Because yeah, it kind of has a snickerdoodle vibe where it's like a little bit milky, but then it also has the flavors of cinnamon. And because I didn't use too much of the roasted barley, it doesn't overpower. And that's actually pretty tough because that stuff is pretty strong. But yeah, it's really, really delicious. I think this would go great with a piece of milk chocolate. It's really good. Okay, so next up we have our I'm excited for this one. This is our hibiscus and Sichuan and rosehip tea. So on the nose, very floral as you would expect with hibiscus and with rosehip. That's really good. I mean, the dominant flavor here is definitely hibiscus. And the rosehip. They add kind of this like acidic flavor, but it's also floral. I don't know how much of that floral flavor is coming from those versus the Sichuan peppercorns, because those also have a little bit of a floral character to them. It's really good. It's not spicy like you might expect from Sichuan peppercorns. In fact, I think you could probably put even a little bit more in this and get away with it. But it does just add a slight warming sensation to the tongue, which is really, really pleasant and something that's not necessarily expected from like a hibiscus or rosehip tea. It's really, really tasty. It's more punchy in flavor than the first one. And I think this would taste really nice with maybe some cheddar cheese or some brie. I think it would go really, really well with a cheese board. just balancing out the creaminess from the cheese and kind of like funkiness from the cheese with kind of this like bright and acidic tea. It's really, really tasty. Okay, so changing gears a little bit, this one is has all of the kind of very green flavors in it, or green herbs. This one had nettle, it had rosemary, and also peppermint. From the smell, you're definitely getting a combination of the peppermint and the rosemary. Those are pretty strong herbs. Probably the peppermint dominates, but let's have a taste. Oh, that's delicious. That is so good. The peppermint and the rosemary are definitely the dominant flavors, and then it's hard for me to discern like how much of the verdant or like vegetal flavor is coming from the nettle versus those other herbs, because you know they have a quite vegetal flavor as well. But it really tastes very herbal, very green, and very light. This is super refreshing. It's really, really delicious. I think this one is my favorite one so far. All right, so next up, this one is the one that has the roasted chicory and the roasted barley, and then I think I added some of the marshmallow root and maybe the milk thistle as well to this. So this is, as you can see, it's almost as dark as coffee. You know, and roasted barley and roasted chicory are often seen in like, you know, herbal coffee substitutes. So let's give this a taste. Wow. Okay, so I've had quite a few like roasted chicory coffee substitutes before, and that is definitely the dominant flavor here. It is a taste, like I really like it. I bought one from Trader Joe's recently that I actually really, really like, that has some other stuff in it like carob and other things as well. But it does have a bitter flavor. But yeah, I don't think I'm getting much of the marshmallow root or the milk thistle or anything like that. This is primarily a roasted flavor. I think this would really be good with any baked good. The same way you would have coffee and a piece of cake or a donut. This would be really good in those applications too. Okay, so now we have our rooibos blend. So I'm very familiar with drinking rooibos tea. I love it, but it's not my favorite, but I do like it a lot and I buy it. And that's definitely the dominant scent is rooibos. It's really, really interesting. You definitely get the flavor of rooibos. I believe I did also put cinnamon in this and maybe rose hip, and I also put the Sichuan peppercorns. It has a really, really interesting flavor. It definitely doesn't taste just like regular rooibos tea. Surprisingly, the cinnamon is not overwhelming this, which I thought that it would. You definitely get cinnamon, and then again, it's from the Sichuan peppercorns. They're not adding so much flavor to this. Maybe I would need to add more to really get them to be punchy, but they just it warms the tongue ever so slightly, almost like, you know, you brushed your teeth a half hour ago and there's still a little bit of that sensation on your tongue. But I do like that flavor of rooibos. I think that in this case, though, some of the flavors are kind of competing against each other, and it's kind of hard to you know, discern like what's going on here. I thought that the Sichuan peppercorns would be a little bit more punchy, and then I believe I did also add rosehip to this, and I think that that's kind of clashing a little bit, at least in my opinion, with the rooibos. So maybe next time I would leave out the rosehip. So this is our like milky and roasty toasty tea. So this one had the roasted barley and then milk thistle and marshmallow root in it. So let's see how this tastes. This is very good. This is super delicate, as you would expect. That milk thistle and marshmallow root, they really almost add like a body to the tea. It is kind of a milky flavor, kind of a malty flavor to the tea, which goes really, really well with the roasted barley. This almost reminds me of the flavor of Ovaltine or malt, like for a milkshake. Yeah, this one I think would taste really, really good with like bananas Foster or something like that. Some sort of kind of creamy and rich but delicately flavored dessert. For Christmas, we call them cream puffs in the States, but my husband calls them profiteroles. And I think this would be delicious with that. They were just filled with like a vanilla kind of whipped cream filling. And I think this would be delicious with that and complement it really, really well. Yeah, this one is awesome. This one would definitely be like a daily drinker for me because it's a very, very delicate flavor. It's not gonna leave a weird flavor in your mouth after you're done drinking it. Yeah, it's really, really, really delicious. Okay, so that's all for the tasting. I think if I have to pick two favorites, I would say that the last one, so this is the one with the roasted barley, the milk thistle, and the marshmallow root, and then the kind of very, very green one, so the one that had, you know, nettle, rosemary, peppermint, these types of things. I'd say that those two probably tie for me for the best. Very, very different, but really, really delicious. I had a ton of fun doing this. I think that, you know, these bulk sections are absolutely amazing in the grocery store because you can do stuff like this, just play around and sample without dropping, you know, $5 on a spice, and you can get pretty high quality spices and herbs. So yeah, I would definitely do this again. I was a little bit bummed that they didn't have dried orange peel at my grocery store because I think that would have been a really, really delicious thing to add to teas. But I guess that just means that I might have to do this again with some more flavor combinations. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and have a lovely day. Bye.